Executive Due Diligence Report, Juvenescence Ltd, targeting $150 million plus funding for healthy lifespan drug candidates. 1. Company and technology overview. Founded in 2017, Juvenescence is a UK-based clinical-stage biotech company. It is led by an experienced management team with expertise in drug development and commercialization. The company has raised over $100 million to date and is currently seeking to raise $150 million plus to advance its pipeline of therapeutics that modulate biological aging. Its stated mission is to extend healthy human lifespan by preventing and reversing age-related diseases. Juvenescence does this by leveraging an AI-driven drug discovery platform and forming strategic partnerships to accelerate the development of therapies that target the core mechanisms of aging. This approach allows them to develop treatments for multiple indications with a single drug candidate, reducing development costs and timelines. Juvenescence plans to have 5 drug candidates in phase 1 or 2 trials by early 2025. It differentiates itself by focusing on early-stage disease interception, prevention, and pro-longevity pharmacology versus most current treatments that manage symptoms or address late-stage complications. This positions them well within the growing longevity biotech space, which is estimated to reach $100 billion by 2040. As a first mover in this space, they aim to establish dominance with a diversified pipeline of first-in-class therapeutics. 2. Market insights and niche value. The global aging population is increasing the demand for therapeutics that address the root causes of aging and its associated diseases. However, most current treatments only manage the symptoms of these diseases rather than the underlying aging biology. Juvenescence is addressing this unmet need by offering disease preventive or delaying interventions that modulate core aging processes. Their value proposition is centered around the ability to intervene early in the disease process, potentially before symptoms even arise. By doing so, they aim to provide patients with better long-term health outcomes while also reducing the burden on healthcare systems. 3. Strategic outlook. Over the next 3 to 5 years, Juvenescence plans to advance multiple drug candidates into clinical trials with the goal of achieving first product approvals for niche aging-related indications such as frailty and sarcopenia. Depending on the clinical trial data and the establishment of regulatory pathways, a commercial launch may follow, particularly if conditional approval is granted based on early efficacy signals and appropriate biomarker endpoints. In the longer term, Juvenescence may consider strategic options such as an IPO, licensing deals, or M&A transactions, although these will likely depend on clinical milestones and investor appetite for longevity biotech. For economic value and stock estimation, as a privately held company, Juvenescence do not have to disclose their financial information. However, previous fundraisers suggest a valuation in the range of $500 million. We estimate that Juvenescence could go public in late 2026 or early 2027. This would depend on successful completion of phase 2 trials and overall market sentiment towards aging therapeutics. Assuming a successful outcome, we estimate the following pre-IPO valuation range. In 2025, we forecast a valuation of $500 million driven by clinical milestones. In 2026, we estimate a valuation of $750 million to $900 million as investors begin to prepare for an IPO. Following an IPO in late 2026 or early 2027, we estimate a market cap of $1.2 billion to $1.5 billion. This would depend on the uptake of aging therapeutics and competitive traction. By 2028, if regulatory approvals are achieved, we forecast a valuation of $2 billion to $2.5 billion driven by early revenues and strategic partnership deals. And finally, by 2029, we estimate a valuation of $3 billion plus driven by market expansion and additional indications. This, of course, would depend on real-world data and revenue scale-up. Based on this, we estimate that Juvenescence could have a share price in the range of $12 to $18 in the first year following an IPO.